Good morning, everyone. Today is Sunday morning. I think already you have a plan to do something in the afternoon. Somehow you sacrifice your morning sleeping. Also, you sacrifice meeting people and going here and there and try to attend the Dharma class. In one way, in one hand, we always need to feel, always need to recognize I am one of the very fortunate person to have the opportunity to study and practice the Dharma. So when we think studying and practicing Dharma, the second we need to think seriously, what's the Dharma make me different? Why it is necessary, important to study and practicing Dharma? First, we feel I am very fortunate to have the opportunity to study, to practice Dharma. The second, you should think, what Dharma really makes me different? Do I can get benefits or not? Ask this question. Second, when you ask the question, the answer is always yes. Studying, practice Dharma can get lots of benefits for our own self, ourselves, and benefit for the people who live around us. Then slowly we can get a lot of benefit to benefit the rest of the people. Therefore, we need to reflect on the beneficials of studying and practicing Dharma. Then third question, we always need to ask ourselves, do I properly follow Dharma or not? All my daily actions is according to Dharma or not? Ask this question. Then your daily studying and practicing Dharma become very pure. All action can be positive actions. When we have a lot of positive actions, first benefit we can have, we can feel, very happy about the positive actions. When you feel the positivity in your minds, then immediately your your body and mind become very calm and peaceful. When you became calm and peaceful, then the living being, particularly the people or family who live around you, they also feel very calm and peaceful. The Dharma mainly teach us, explain us how to be calm, how to be very calm, how to be totally calm. The calmness is very important. Also, the Dharma teach us, explain us how I stop to harm others. Many people, they wish to happy themselves, but they never stop harming others. If we don't stop harming others, then we never be, happy. We feel very worries, we feel very scary. Then this cause to have a very healthy, unhealthy body and unhealthy mind. Therefore, after we study Dharma, the most important, we need to practice the Dharma. So when we think about how to practice Dharma, then many people, many Buddhist people think, oh, I just need to sit into as a cross-leg, a meditation posture, and holding a mala, or do recitation, chanting. This is not really. Practicing, applying Dharma means when the negative thoughts come, when the negative thoughts arise, we need to apply the antidotes. Make sure the negative thoughts which arise should not let it become more powerful, more stronger, more destructive. So immediately we need to apply the antidotes to stop continuously arising. Then also continuously apply the antidotes and minimize the negative thoughts. If there's no negative thoughts, then all your action is always be wholesome, always be positive actions. When we have a lot of positive action in our daily life, then moment of the death, definitely we can have lots of positive thoughts, only positive thoughts, because we have the habits. We put a lot of habit to have a positive thoughts. Then the positive thoughts become, most crucial cause to take a rebirth in the higher realms. Therefore, the precious Garland, the first chapter is chapter about how to practice the Dharma to achieve higher realms. The second, the first chapter explains how to recognize the actual cause of the suffering, actual cause of all the karmas, actual cause of the samsara. Clear? Then now we need to discuss what is the actual cause of the samsara. The actual cause of higher realms and lower realms, we just already learned, put together, all the positive actions are cause to achieve higher rebirth. All the negative action cause to take rebirth in lower realms. Then, if we only do these two practices, practice only the 10 virtuous actions, not engaging in the non-virtuous action, still we always remain in the samsara. Look like, for the short time we went for the holiday to the nice and beautiful places. After a few weeks, we still need to come back. Then goes again, come back again. Then a higher realm is the state to have a short time, samsaric happiness. Right now, we already have the opportunity and the leisure life. Particularly, all of you, most of our Singaporean, all of you have the fortunate life. Also, you have all the necessary, condition. But we feel, every day we feel, I am not happy. My families are not happy. My relatives are not happy. My children are not happy. Because mainly the unhappiness is not coming from the, outside, from, from externally, it's come from internally. So we need to realize this point. For example, when you live in a very luxury, like a house with the air condition, with all kinds of delicious food, all kinds of beautiful, like clothes and jewelry, all expensive thing, still you feel I'm not happy. When you look at around, you ask question why I'm not happy. Because I have everything, still I'm not happy. Then where the unhappiness come from? That means it's very clear, obvious. The unhappiness comes within our minds because we never control the negative thoughts. Therefore, in order to control the rest of the negative thoughts, first we need to recognize the ignorance. Ignorance about self, ignorance about I and mine. So last week we already discussed about how the I exists, how we have a misperception about I and mine. When we say I, you should not look at outside. You should not look in somebody's eye. We need to look our own eye. How my eye, because there's a very easy to have a confusion. For example, when you think I need a cup of water, there's three things is there. Three things. I. The I is not the thoughts. The I, when you think I need a water, the I, we say I is not the thoughts, not consciousness, not mind, I. Then I need a water, that time there's a thoughts. At the same time, there's a mind, which is thinking, need a water. Need a water whom? I. Then there's another thought, reflecting on the water. Therefore, the water is not I. The thoughts which is thinking water is not I. The I is when you say I. Not the thoughts, not the water. The I, which is need water, is a I. For us, I look like fully independent, not depend on the five aggregates. This is that mind, the thoughts, which is perceived the independent I, is a ignorance. So we need to recognize, oh, I have a thoughts which is perceived the independent thoughts. This independent thought is not any existent, no existent. The independent thoughts we need to negate. We know we should not negate the I, which is merely established depending on the five aggregates. Clear? So no meditation, we just go to the topic. The last time we discussed until the As long as sentence number, stanza number 35. Stanza number 35. As long as aggregates are conceived, aggregates mean the five aggregates. The five aggregates are the basis to establish the I. As long as the aggregates are conceived as independent aggregates, then so long thereby does the conception of I exist. So here what we need to know, the I which is exist, there's two kinds of I. One is existent, one is not existent, no existent, which is the independent I is no exist. The I which is exists, which is dependent on the existent I, which is exists depend on the merely five aggregates. Therefore, the five aggregates which depend the I are not independent five aggregates. If you perceive the five aggregates are as independent, then continuously we can have the concept of independent I. As long as aggregates are conceived as independent, so long thereby does the conception of independent I exist. That means the ignorance is continuously there. Further, when the conception of I exists, when the conception of independent I exists in your mind, there is an action. And from there also, and then there is an action there. Doesn't matter, positive actions or negative actions, still cause to rebel, still cause to possess another types of body. That means again, it's a circle in samsara. So here I think we need to learn I has a true kinds of I we have. But mostly we don't recognize the actual I's which is existent depending on five aggregates. Until today, whatever we say I, the I always, for us, always independent I. Two types of I. Then another important is the I is dependent on five aggregates. Min is talking about depending and dependent. Then also in the previous is talking about the five aggregates arise from I's. Mean, again is look at this next sentence. There's an action and from it there are also a rebel. That means the I, the concept of independent I, then the actions, then the rebel. The three things is a cycle. Is circle. So, but with these three pathways mutually causing each other, with these three paths, the path of the afflictions, afflictive emotion include ignorance, then the pathway of all the actions, and the pathway of rebirth. These three things mutually causing each other. Therefore, we call, cyclic existence, samsara, mean like a kind of round. So if we really understood, oh, the I, then all the every emotions, then karma, then another life, then there's a five aggregates, then the I conceive five aggregates, then the I again continuously arise all the every emotions, then again samsara. Then we really realize the main point, how to break the change between ignorance, rest of the emotions, and karma and rebirth. Without beginning, a middle, or an end, this wheel of cyclic existence turns like a wheel of firebrand. So when this one, I think, when you reflect on the wheel of, so wheel of life, or wheel of samsara. Remember, we already have a class of the twirling interdependence. At the center, there's three animals: pig, bird, and snake. The pig hold the bird like a feather. The birds hold the snake tail. Then the snake hold the pig's tail. They hold each other. This means it's talking about the first pathway, which is ignorance, include all the afflictive emotions. Then just out of the three animals, you can see one side is a white parts, other side is the black parts. It explains the positive actions and negative action. The human beings who are on the black parts, they are walking towards down, going to lower realms. The human beings who are on the white paths, they are going up, mean taking rebirth in higher realm. Please talk about the rebirth or part of the rebirth. Then, in the third circle, there you can see the 6 realms. Hungry ghosts, the hungry beings, the hell being, animal being, human, and the devas. This explain the third pathway, which is the samsara, or rebirth. Is turn the wheel of firebrand. So in order to cultivate, in order to practice renunciation, that you reflect on the wheel of samsara. In the center, there are 3 animals, which is ignorance, attachment, desire. Then there's a karmas, positive and negative karmas. Then around you can see in the center animals, then the black and white parts, positive and negative actions. Outer, then you can see the 6 realms. Then around, then you can see the trailing interdependence. Then all of them, the 3 animals, the positive and negative karmas, then 6 realms, the trailing interdependence, everything controlled by one of the very strong kind of, like we call Mara. This is the kind of the ignorance again. So we all actually controlled by the Mara or Yeah. So just reflect on this, the meaning of the wheel of samsara, but some say wheel of life. The Sanskrit or Tibetan we say Sipe Korlo, Sipa or Shipa mean samsara. Korlo mean wheel, the wheel of samsara. How we are cycle in samsara. So this is the best, painting for cultivating renunciation. Thank you. Then next one, 37. Because this will is not obtained from self, other from both. So, because this will is not obtained by self, that means the three parts. The three parts is not really, obtained by itself. It depends on, many causes, condition. Obtained by self, obtained by others, obtained from both. In the past, present, future, the conception of I is overcome, and thereby action and rebirth. So when we reflect on the three pathways, particularly ignorance, through analysis, through study, then we hope we're going to realize there's no such as independent I. I am always mistaken about my own I. My own I, I is merely designated, the designated I based on five aggregates. Then is, going to stop to arising the rest of the afflicted emotion, particularly attachment and desire. Then when we able to stop, arising or generating attachment, anger, then we are going to stop to engage the positive and negative action. We can say, if you want to know more clearly, we can say the contaminated positive and negative actions. Until today, since beginning last time until today, all the karma we have been accumulating is only cause to, rebirth in the samsara. The positive, a little bit higher samsara, the negative karma is a bit lower samsara. And thereby action and rebirth is overcome. One who sees how cause and effect are produced and destroyed does not regard the world as really exists or really non-exists. Again, in order to realize the emptiness of I and self, we need to realize how the cause and effect are produced and destroyed. They said at the beginning, I said, so when you really want to wish to realize emptiness, simply you reflect on one of the external phenomena, like a flower, like a tree. When you reflect on the flower, just simple a flower, you reflect on the cause, which is cause the flower. When there's some little changes in the cause, there must be some changes in the flower. That means there's a very kind of very sensitive, very fine, deep connection between the cause and effect and cause. If you add more cause to, develop the flower, then you can see the flower is, growing much better. So you add, more causes condition, the better cause and condition. If you add some kind of cause to harm the plant, harm the root, then you can see this kind of cause to destroy the flower, But the destroyed flower also arises from the cause. That means one cause, for example, the unhealthy cause. When you add in your pot, which has a flower, then unhealthy cause destroyed the flower, produce the destroyed flower. There is also cause. It produces the destroyed flower. Is harm to the flower, but it becomes conducive condition to the destroyed flower. For example, when we eat medicine, the medicine to cause the reduce the sickness. That means the medicine actually harm to the sickness, destroy the sickness, is produce the kind of the healthy life or healthy body. Therefore, you must know it doesn't matter positive cause or negative cause, still producing certain productions. Destroyed does not regard the world as really exists or really non-exist. Mean when you analyze, when you study about the simple flower, then you know, oh, the flower which is I can perceive is merely only exist only depending on cause condition. The flower is itself cannot come to being into exist without cause condition. Mean there's no independent flower. There's no independent leaf and like fruits. Then you realize an emptiness of the flower. Same way, me may say I'm a human being. How I am human being? How I'm not a dog? I have a feeling. The dog has a feeling. I have a mind. The dog has a mind. I need food and drink. The dog also needs food and drink. So what make me human? What make the dog is not human? Again, the physical body. Mean when we say this dog, the dog established dependent on the 5 aggregates of the dog. We say I'm a human because we posit established as a human based on human 5 aggregates, particularly human body. Otherwise, the consciousness mind, I don't think there's a much difference. Existent. Then 39. On who has heard thus the doctrine extinguishing all suffer, but do not examine it, and fears the fearless state, tremble due to the ignorance. So when we say, when you hear the teaching, the doctrine or teaching, extinguishing or neglecting or rejecting the independent I, then all suffering, then suddenly we have a sudden kinds of fear. When you hear the teaching, there's no independent I, then there's no suffering, then you will think, oh, I'm not exist. My body not going to be existent phenomena. We feel fears. But do not examine it, then of course we can have a sense of very fear. How come I'm not exist? But the doctrine, the teaching said, the independent I know exist. The teaching not saying I is not exist. For us, we totally have a confusion, the independent I and I. When you try to recognize the I, the actual I's, actually we are recognizing the I, the independent I. When we try to negate, when we try to neglect the independent I, at the same time we negating the I. Therefore, we have a sense of fear. We thought, but do not examine it. And fear, a fearless state, tremble due to the ignorance. 40, that all this will not exist in nirvana, do not frighten you. Why does their non-existence explained here cause you, like frighten? Why, certain people feel fears, frightened? Because first, they don't understand differences between the merely designated I and the independent I. For us, I means send. Then somebody, some teaching negate the independent I, that we feel the teaching actually saying there's no I. Therefore, we fear. Then what he is saying, that all this will not exist in nirvana. So when we achieve nirvana, when you become a Buddha, Arhat, that time there's no independent I, but still there's an I. There's no contaminated five aggregates, but still there are aggregates, which is very pure. Then he say, why you are fighting when you talk about selflessness? Because when you achieve Buddhahood, there's no independent I, there's no contaminated five aggregates. There's no need to fighting. Explain here, cause you fight. In liberation, there's no self and are no aggregates. Mean there's no independent self, which is we perceive, which is we believe ourselves. And also there's no contaminated, aggregates. If liberation is assert this, why is the removal here of self and of the aggregates not liked by you? So when you achieve Buddhahood, there's no independent self, there's no contaminated five aggregates, there's just merely independent I, merely the very pure five aggregates. So when we remove the independent I, when we say if you remove independent I, then the contaminated five aggregates is going to be removed. Then why you are, feel, fighting and scared? And of the aggregates not like by you. If nirvana is not a non-thing, just how could it have the thingness? The extinction of the misconception of the thing is called nirvana. So when we achieve nirvana, there's no independent I. Nirvana is not a known thing. That means when achieve nirvana, it doesn't mean you're going to achieve nothingness. You're going to achieve, you reach to the particular state which doesn't exist the independent I, which doesn't possess any contaminated five aggregates. Just how could it have the thingness? That means this when achieve nirvana, there's no independent I, and also if there's no independent I, then how come they have the thing which is possessed to the independent I? Then the 43, his explanation is explain two things. In brief, the view of nihilism. is the effect of the action do not exist. Therefore, when we try to understand, emptiness of self, emptiness of I, make sure you should not have the one of the extreme view, which is nihilism. No independent I doesn't mean no I. When we reject the independent I, at the same time when we reject the merely designated I, then there's no action. Then there's no effect of the action. Effect of the action do not exist. Without merit and the leading to bad state, it is regarded as a wrong view. Right and wrong view. The nihilism is the wrong view. Because your way of thinking is totally wrong view. Then the 44. In brief, the view of existence is the effect of action exists. When you believe there's a merely designated I, then based on merely designated I, then there's an action, then there's an effect. Then there's a meritorious and conducive to happy transmigration. It is regarded as a right view. So you talk about right and wrong view. You have the wrong view, it leads you a lot of suffering, bring a lot of suffering. Then now we should, I think, jump onto stanza number. And between them, they reject the conception of point of view from non-Buddhist. Now 48, stanza number 48. When this is, that arise, like short when there's a long, due to the production of this, that is produced like light from the production of the flame. Remember in the Rasiling Sutra, something exists, therefore something exists because something already exists. Something arises because something already arised. He's talking about the three conditions. When this is, then arise. If there's a cause, then the effect arises. Like short when there's a long. Now need to reflect on the long and short, how dependent on each other. When we say, oh, this is a long one, you're talking about this is long, compared to something which is shorter. When you say this is short, the concept of short we establish depend on something which is longer. Then the short established based on long. When we say this is long, the concept of long we have, the long is established depend on short. Therefore, the long is not established by, there is its own nature. Same way, the short, then big and small, tall and short, good and bad. Everything we establish, compared with something. Nothing can be exist their own nature. Just as due to the non-production of the flame, light also does not arise. their own nature, just as due to the non-production of the flame. If the flame is non-production, they say the flame is there, the flame is not really produced from causes condition, then what happened? That means the flame can be permanent because the flame is there. But the flame doesn't have any causes condition. Therefore, the flame cannot be produced from cause. Still, if you believe still exists, then the fire must be permanent phenomena. If the fire is permanent phenomena, the fire cannot produce any light. So is what he's talking about. He's talking about if the cause is impermanent, then the result, the production must be impermanent. If the cause is permanent, then the cause cannot produce anything. Like due to the non-production of the flame, but also do not arise. That means this sentence, what we need to think, the things around us include our life, body, speech, mind, particularly the body. Every moment is getting older. Every second is getting older. But when we realize, when we celebrate, or the birthday, then we thought, oh, I am now become 1 year old. But we don't realize every moment we are getting older. Every moment, all the permanent phenomena is moving towards ending of the particular form. For example, the cup. If you put this cup anywhere, somewhere, without touching for 1,000 years, after 1,000 years, when you came back to see the cup, definitely the cup already become like a dust. Therefore, every phenomenon, I'm not going to be end. All phenomena moving towards ending of very particular form or shape. For example, our body. Now we say, oh, this is my body, so important. Yes, it's very important. Reflect on how it's quickly changing, quickly getting older. Every moment, then one day what happened? One day, the whole body become, dust. Maybe 1 kilo or 2 kilo of dust. Therefore, impermanence. Having the sin, the effects arise from the cause. One assert what appear in the confessional of the world and does not accept nihilism. So when we see, see the effect arise from where? From cause. Then one assert what appear in the confessional of the world does not accept nihilism. That means everything is there, but merely depend on cause condition. Then there's a lot of paragraph which is negate the concept of I from the non-Buddhist point of view, like particular Hinduism. Here, I think most of you are, grow in the Singapore, which has a kind of Christian background. You went to Christian school, or you read Bible, or you receive, kind of teaching from Christian or Hindu or Muslim. All of them talking exactly the same. Whether they are Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, everybody talk about the creation. God, Allah, Bhagavan is same thing. The history is different, And also when they talk about, like a me and self, everybody talk about soul. Soul. Hindu say Atma. Atma, the soul is different. Hindu believe this body is kind of, the guest house. I, the soul, me, remain with this body for a few years. Then the soul will leave this body. Me and this body, there's no really, kind of important connection. Then they thought I or soul is permanent. If I and soul is permanent, then I cannot be changed. Then we cannot say I am 10 years old, 20 years old, I'm older, I'm younger, because there's no any changes, because I is a permanent. So from the Buddhist point of view, they rejects, the concept of permanent I. There's no such permanent I. Then the singleness. There's I. The I's never be just singleness. Never be single means yes, just oneness. Because the I's depend on the five aggregates. Without five aggregates, there's no I. Therefore, I is not never be singleness. Then unity. So mainly they reject the concept of I, point of view from Hinduism. Then now we just jump all the way to stanza number 80. Now, very simple way. Okay, the first step. Nobody can deny there's no I, there's no consciousness. Therefore, we must say there's an I. Then the question is here, what kind of I have? What kind of I, me? Right? I am independent I, or I am dependent I. Then second, you must think, yes, I am, whoever you, I am, not independent I, independent me. Me depend on my five aggregates. The five aggregates are not me. I am not any of the five aggregates, but without five aggregates, there cannot be I. I only exist depending on the five aggregates. Like the face, your image of your face in the mirror. You can see, you perceive your face in the mirror. The mirror is not your face. Your face is not the mirror. But without mirror, there cannot be image of your face in the mirror. It's depending on mirror. Particularly I, depending on five aggregates. Within the five aggregates, then first we need to analyze the form, right? This physical body form. I am established, depend on one of the five aggregates, which is the form. Now, how the form is exist? Then the form of the physical body exists combination of the four elements: water, fire, earth, and air. Exactly when you reflect our body, the bones, the skin are like kind of earth. Then the blood, which is circle in our body, are like it's water. red color of kind of water. Then the heat in your body, when you touch your body, you can feel, the warmness or heat. It's kind of fire energy or fire. We name fire. Then the oxygen, which is, runs within our body, produced by lungs, produced from our throat, is air. That means the physical body, when we consider the body is so beautiful, the body is very ugly, whatever, actually the body is formed with the four elements. Right? 4 elements. Now you start to study, you start studying about how the form, which is dependent by the eye, how it is really exists. Then mainly the 4 elements. Stanza number 8. A person is not earth, not water, not fire, not wind, not space, not consciousness, not all of them. What person is there other than this? Yes, person no 5 elements, person no consciousness, the person not space. Space means when you look at, when you reflect within our body, you can see every part has some kind of, knobs. When there's a knobs, the knobs, the water or the blood runs with the knobs. The blood is running within the knobs. Then there must be empty. Otherwise, the blood cannot run through. If there's empty, means there's a space. So when you analyze, I am not any of the 5 elements, 4 elements. I am not the consciousness. I am not the space. And not all of them, not individually, not all of them. Then what person is there other than this? Then where's the person? What the person is? Other than this is 5 or 6 elements, or 4 elements, consciousness, space. What's the person? Therefore, you really have to think, how I exist, how I am, who I am. I'm not the fire, I'm not the air, I'm not the earth, I'm not the wind, space, consciousness. Who I am, how I am exist, without any of them. Just as a person is not real, due to being a composite of the 6 constituents, so each of them constituents also is not real due to being a compose. That means there's no such as independent, inherent person is there. That means not real means you should not think I'm not real human, or this is not a real dog. This is not a real fish. Yes, this is real fish, real dog. Real means I am not real, really exist inherently, exist independently. I'm not actually, I am not actually can be function without depending on any of them. That means just as a person is not real means not inherently existent, not true existent. Because due to being a composite of the 6 constituents, that means 4 elements, consciousness and space. So I am only exists merely depending on the 6 constituents. But when you study each of them, so each of the constituents also is not real. Let's say like a fire within the heat of body. When you analyze the water within our body, when you analyze, just bring a drop of blood from our body as a water, put on the glass. Then you just, spread on the glass. Wherever, spread. Then you use the microscope. You can see billions of like particles. That means the blood is set, the water is set. It's not such as there. Then also we say, my hand. Just reflect on the hand. When we look at the hand, there's 5 fingers. There's a palm. Then the back side of the hand. When you just reflect on one of the, like a finger, there's a, skin. When you open, blood, bone, nerves. When you open, still, dismantle the body, break down more pieces. Again, just be part of the dust. Therefore, the water, fire, consciousness, space, when you break down in many pieces, there's nothing. There's nothing. So each of these constituents also is not real due to being a compound. Then things just come together. Then we just name this is a fire, this water, this consciousness, this is human. When you analyze, we cannot really say something there as an independent phenomenon. This is the first kind of easy one. Then the next one, the aggregates are not the same. I dependent on the 5 aggregates, but 5 aggregates are not I self. They are not in it. The 5 I depends on 5 aggregates, but the I not inherently depend on 5 aggregates. They are not in it. It's not in them. I depend on the 5 aggregates, but I cannot, be dependent on the 5 aggregates as the independent I. The second one, it is not in them. The I is dependent on 5 aggregates. When you analyze within the 5 aggregates, there's no such as independent I. Without them, it is not. When you analyze, you cannot find I within the 6, 6 elements. But without them, also you cannot find you and me. So when you study this way, they look like me and mine and things look totally kind of illusion, look like dream. For example, last night you have a very scary dream. When you awake, right now you reflect the very scary dream. Still you feel scared. When you analyze the scary dream you have, it's kind of reflection in your mind. It reflect for a short time, it's gone, but we still feel scared. When you have a nice dream last night, when you reflect a nice dream, still you have a strong attachment, desire. When you really think about the dream, the good or bad dream, it just kind of reflection in your mind. It's some reflect for sure, then no more there. The same way, aggregates are like a fire and fuels, therefore how could the self exist? It is not mixed with the aggregates, like fire and fuel, therefore how could it be self exist? Then I and 5 aggregates are dependent on each other, but I itself cannot be any of the 5 aggregates. Any of the 5 aggregates cannot be the I. Without I, we cannot say this is the basis of I. Without 5 aggregates, we cannot find our I. Therefore, I and 5 aggregates not totally oneness. not totally different phenomena. There's no oneness, also not totally different. It's different, but not totally. The three elements are not earth, they are not in them. Without them is not. Since this also appeal to each the elements like the set and the are false. Earth, water, fire, wind, individual also do not inherently exist. When there are absence, individual one does not exist. When one is absent, the three also do not exist. So these are all the stanza. I think we heard many times from Dalai Lama. So also you can memorize a few of the stanza in order to reflect on how I exist, in order to realize emptiness. Okay, I think next we just move to the second chapter. Okay, I think last time we didn't have enough time for Q&A. Today we have more time for discussion. So please have a question, based on the Precious Garland teaching, or have any kind of question. Please feel free.
Good morning, Geshe La. There is a question.
Yes.
Geshe La, you have mentioned a lot of times about contemplating I and the independent I. Specifically, can Geshe La explain what does it mean by looking for the independent I? It's like, when will we find an independent I? How do we know that we have these independent I's, the thoughts of independent I? For example, when I think about my book, at this moment, the I that has a book is just an I. How can we differentiate this I is a independent I or mere destination I? Can Geshe La please explain how to identify this? How are we mixing this up? Thank you, Geshe La.
Thank you so much for asking this question. When we have our thoughts, which is perceive the I, when we have our thoughts, which is perceive the I, there can be sometimes the thoughts perceive the independent I. Sometimes the thoughts perceive the dependent I. For example, when you say, oh, I am sick, then you have a thoughts, I am sick. You say, I am sick. If somebody asks, oh, what's really problem? Then you say, oh, I have a headache. I have a backache. I have a stomach ache. That means that time the thoughts perceiving the dependent I, which is depend on the physical body. Also, when you say, oh, I'm fat, I'm slim, I am skinny, that time the thoughts perceive the dependent I, not the independent I. Sometimes when the thoughts perceive I, the thoughts perceive the independent I. For example, let's say, oh, I'm a human. Oh no, I want to go. I want to go. When you say I want to go, there's a thoughts. The thought perceive the I. Then second, the body moves. When we say I need to go, that time you need to reflect how the I is arise. I need to go. Where's the I, which is say, I need to go. I need to go. Then you reflect how the I is, really function. That time, then not easy to differentiate the independent I and dependent I. When you say I'm sick, I'm hungry, I'm fat, I'm skinny, I'm man, and I'm woman, this one is easy to understand. The I is established based on particular aspect of the form. When you say I need to go, I am angry. I am angry. That time, what kind of I you can recognize? And also the independent I will never exist in the past, not existing now, never be exist in the future. The independent I is a conception, is a concept in your mind. It's just your own conception about the I. Therefore, the independent I never exists, not existing, never be exists. Therefore, I said, when you negate the negation, the independent negation, we need to change the concept of the I. The conception is not externally there, it's in your thoughts. For example, I have the simple, let's say, like this phenomena, this white color. Just the white one. If I say, oh, I have a very expensive phenomena, which is the base is silver. These are the golden. Then let's say everybody believes, oh, this must be very expensive. Then you have the concept, this thing which is believe it is expensive. The concept of expensive you have is not really here. It's just simple paper, white paper. Not here. The expensive of the conception you have, it lies in your mind. So you need to change the concept. Oh, I thought this is a gold or silver, it's just a piece of paper. Then you are negating the actual gold and silver, which is you have the concept in your thoughts. Therefore, when we think about negating the negation, negating the negation of the emptiness, negate the negation of the impermanence, everything lies in your thoughts. We said concept. It's not lies actually there. Therefore, in order to recognize the independent I, dependent I, how the I exists, is you have to go mostly, you have to go through your own experience. First, you just believe, I am independent. Not you say, oh, you should not say, think this way, no. Oh, this person is very financially independent. Yeah, financially I'm independent. Or financially I'm not independent. That meaning is different. We are talking about, am I independent or not? First you believe, yes, I'm independent, I exist independently. I'm independent person. Then think, if I am independent, then why I said my body become fatty, then why we say I'm fat? Because your body and you is totally separate phenomenon. When somebody touch your shoulder, then why you say, oh, you touch me? Because your body, your shoulder, not you, and you and shoulder, there's no any connection because you are independent being. So this question, for the answer to this question, you read the books, read few sentences, deeply reflect the meaning. deeply think how I am exist, how the concept of independence is to cause to solid the ignorance. Therefore, you have to go through experience. Therefore, when you see the comment, illuminating the intended of the Chandrakirti in the Lamrim, for the wisdom chapter at the beginning mentioned very clearly, this one you have to go through your own experience. Doesn't matter how long you attend teaching, how long you study, it doesn't work that way. Read the teaching, read the books, listen to the teaching, deeply reflect your own I. Okay, next question.
Geshe-la, is still about the I part.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, Geshe-la, I, is it a appearance phenomena or hidden phenomena? In our mind, have we ever proved, in our conceptual mind, have we ever proved I? In our conceptual mind, have we ever proved I exist? If in our conceptual mind, we prove I exist, such I, is it a self-grasping? I shall repeat again.
Oh, no.
Thank
okay,
you.
the first part is asking there's a few parts, right?
First part it asks, I, is it a appearance phenomena or hidden phenomena?
The first answer is very simple. It's an apparent phenomena. I can see you, you can see me. Yeah. You don't need to use any logic reason to prove I or you exist. Therefore, it's an appearance phenomena. Second, yes, very simple. Every day, we ourselves can experience I. Just I'm not happy. Oh, you hurt me. That's mean you every moment. There's no anytime you really miss the thinking about I. I want to sleep. I want to eat. I want to go. I have this. That means every moment you have experiencing your own I. Also, no need any kind of approval to approve I am exist. If you are not exist, then who really experience the suffering? Who really experience the happiness? You may say, oh, the happiness is experienced by feeling. Actually, we have a misunderstanding. When you have a happy feeling, then you say, I'm happy. Happy means you are experiencing the happy feeling. When you say I'm not happy, mean that moment you are experiencing the unhappy feeling. That means that who really feel the feeling? That means I. Therefore, there's no way we can deny I. Therefore, everybody, even though you can see the simple animal like cow, dog, fish, they have the concept of I. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, this is my kind of like a baby, no need. Then third part, self-grasping. Then self-centered attitudes. These are different. Self-centered means we always think I am first. I am always first. Then second, other. If you have this very strong, I'm always first. If there's a food, first I want to eat. Then later I will give other. Means you have a very self-centered attitude. You're just cherishing yourself. This is self-cherishing. Self-grasping means grasping is the thought which is grabs. Grabs the self, means the independent self. Therefore, I said at the beginning, when you think about I, or self. There can be two. One is the independent, one is the dependent. The self-grasping grabs the true existent I. So self-grasping is the thought, the mind which grabs, which is hold, which perceive the independent I, is ignorance. Therefore, self-grasping, self-centered attitudes, self-cherishing is different. So self-grasping is a kind of ignorance, which is perceive the independent I, which is perceive the true existent I, which is we studied yesterday on the entering into middle way. Yes, next question.
Yeah, Geshe-la, what are the 3 elements? Is it the same as the 4 elements?
3 elements, no. 3 elements actually does, but first they're talking about 4 elements. The 4 elements also depend on each other. Now they need to study how the elements depends on 3. It's the same. If you hold the fire, the earth, wind go to 3 elements. If you hold the air, the rest of it become 3, same thing. For example, fire, how we know just simple, a simple fire also depends on the 4 elements, the rest of the 3 elements. Because when you make a fire, we need a gas, we need a oil, we need a wood, something. These are included into earth. If there's no air, the fire cannot be burned. Because when you put the fire in the container, there's no air, the fire is going to snap. Again, depends on air. Then you can see there's a movement. Also, there's an air. We need a space. We need a water. Therefore, 4 elements. So the form, it depends on established based on 4 elements. Each of the 4 elements not exist inherently. They're also depending on each other. Therefore, each individually, the 4 element is saying not exist independently. Yes, it's actually the same. The 3 elements or 4 elements actually is the same thing. Okay, next question.
I don't have any question at the moment.
Geshe-la, the clarification from just now, the Chinese questions is, the question was says, if in our conceptual mind, we prove that I exist, is that I self-grasping or not self-grasping? How do we know how do we know that the I that appear in our conceptual mind is self-grasping or not self-grasping?
We cannot say it's self-grasping. We cannot say 100% not self-grasping. So I said, sometimes when we have the eyes, it's independent eye. Sometimes we have a concept, eye is a dependent. It depends on the kind of situation. We cannot say the conceptual mind which is grabs, perceived eye, not always independent eye, not always dependent eye. It can be changed, according to certain condition, according to certain causal condition. Therefore, we cannot say 100% this is self-grasping. We cannot say this is always 100%. It's a non-self-grasping I. So, for example, I said, when I say I'm sick, this time we look like I am not totally separate from the body. When the body is sick, got the sickness, then we say I'm sick. When you have an intelligent mind, your mind is very sharp and intelligent, you say, oh, I am very intelligent. Also, that time you are not totally separate from the consciousness. That means that time, the conceptual mind perceive the independent, kind of independent eyes. Independent eyes. Also, for example, also we have a, the mixed concept about, I and the form, the five aggregates. It depends on the situation, depend on different good condition. We cannot say 100% is always, the self-grasping, not, self-grasping. You need to check, you need to analyze what kind of I is appeared to you yourself.
Follow-up question on this, Geshe La. Based on Geshe La's just now description, does it mean that we are not always have self-grasping? So in our mind, every time we think about I, we may not grasp at the independent I, because based on your description just now. So seek your clarification. Oh,
definitely. Sometimes we grasp the independent I. Sometimes we grasp the dependent I. Therefore, you read the Lamrim. The Lamrim mentioned clearly. Also, you study in the Untitled Chapter by Lama Tsongkhapa, it's mentioned very clearly. Even though the ordinary person, when they think about I, not necessarily they always hold the independent I, always hold the dependent I. Sometimes we hold eyes, whether not dependent, not independent. Also remember the magician illustrated like an elephant. The magician, when he perceived the magician illusory elephant, when he think how the elephant is there, appeared to me. When he think, then he realized, it's appeared to me because the mistaken mind, the polluted mind. But sometimes he don't think. Sometimes he also think, there's a red elephant. So you are right. So we cannot say, always we perceive the independent I. Also, we cannot say we always perceive the dependent I. Something is neither independent nor independent, just simply I. Okay, everybody. So thank you so much for attending the class. We have a few minutes. So we do the dedications and make sure, whatever you learn from me, from other masters, from books or YouTube, whatever, please learn all the Dharma knowledge. That's a very important things to apply my daily life. Apply my daily life, any situation. If you are happy, don't forget Dharma. If you are very upset, very, very upset, you're really down, don't forget Dharma. I can say, the Dharma can be your best friend. Any situation, you have become rich, Dharma can be your best friend. You become poor, you become, nothingness, you don't have anything, Dharma can be your best friend. You're seriously ill, Dharma can be your best friend. So please don't forget to apply the Dharma in any situation. We apply when we are happy. We forget when we fall into serious, dangerous situation. Then we suddenly be thinking a lot of nonsense thing. So don't forget to apply the Dharma in any situation. Please do the dedication. I think stanza number 4.